The disaster unfolding overseas tonight in South Africa. Catastrophic flooding, nearly 450 people dead.
Uvela wangena ngathi nje ngena umfula. Ngaleso sikhathi nginengane la ngaphakatheni nginencane khona nena 2 weeks efike nje.
Electricity boxes outside is open. People are passing by.
Residents across Cape Town are experiencing the effects and the impact of a heavy rainfall that has been coming down consistently since the first of a series of cold fronts hit Cape Town on Sunday.
I really don't know what to do because you can't be without electricity, and it's cold and it feels like I'm going to get arthritis, stuff like that. It's very sad. It's bad.
Ik ben beheer toe gaan het. Was omtrent zo toe vol. En als ik opstaan, ik denk, wat gaan aan? Die hele plek is nat, dat mijn voeten neerzet in water. En die deur opmaak, die hele water komt. What I come from here.
And after that, how long did it take for you to take the water out?
When you take a basket, you throw out and the water come in again. You know what? If a basket here pass and all the water come, then you must take a basket again.
Just tell me that moment where you're in the house. Was it a morning? Can you just tell me exactly how? Yeah, the whole day.
Yeah, when I woke up the morning, I must have an ensuite.
Yes.
Ne? And when I switched on the light, I saw just water running underneath the door to the bedside. And I thought, well, maybe one of the kids left the tap open, so let me get up. And when I got up, yeah, I tramped in the water.
Oh,
so I saw my carpet that's in front of my bed. It was floating.
Now, so you realize there's more water than usual.
Yeah, and that was 2:45 in the morning. And I eventually had to get up. That day I had 5 pairs of shoes, boots on from dishing out water. Because as I dished out the water went because the water was like so on my couches.
As you can see, we were inside the house, the flooring's damaged. Cupboards damaged, everything else. Yeah, basically just the stuff on the floor. Yeah.
We are just, as you can see, just living in water. And because of the poor draining systems that these roads have here, that is actually why this water can't go down to our drain pipes and just wash away.
The day when it stopped, the council come out, check to the drains. But what they do, nothing. You see, here's a drain here in front of us. That morning, the people can be dead. They were driving a white Venza. The Venza was like this, of the water. It's not the first time we have this problem. Every time when the problem is with the council, with the drains, they don't come out and come fix the street. See how the street is. So what must we do?
This drain here is about 25, you say about 30 years. The water is running every day out here for 30 years. They came here, they say, Uncle, come stand in front of the drain. They just take a picture of me, then I suppose for them. Don't worry, we come to fix the drain. For 20 years, the drain is still running water every day, and that is clean water.
There's a lot of citizens that is staying forever in this road for more than 50 years. So, and I mean, this is now the second time in 30 years that this has happened to the family.
Actually, this is the council's fault, and the council must reimburse me. Just look here.
Before the second flood was coming, I was here in the first flood, and the government was taking over community care. When the first flood came, the government paid us out, each and every one 5,000 rand. Each one get 5,000 rand, and when the second flood come, 7 or 8 months back, Cape City Council didn't came out, nobody came out to us, and up till today, we lost a lot of things, and we didn't even receive a cent or a blanket. We're receiving nothing from these people up till today.
Dozens have died in what authorities are calling the tragic toll of the force of nature. In some areas, months of rain fell in a single day.
Although South Africa is naturally vulnerable to these types of events, it is at the same time true that because of climate change, they are starting to occur more and more frequently, and they are systematically also becoming more and more intense.
Those houses were formerly there, and right now what you see down here is the furniture, it's the cars, it's the entire house, all the houses that have just literally just slid down the bank, and it's now in a pile. Like just a heap of memories, I guess.
I heard the news around 3 a.m. We walked here. When we got here, we found people that were already digging. The community and the neighbors nearby were digging inside the rooms, trying to find the bodies. They found my father and my mother here, and when they found them, they put them in a different room, and then it was a very traumatic experience because we had to now find my brother Nduduzo because he was still stuck underneath the rubble.
One of the most traumatic things ever was to see people digging. What are they digging for? They're digging for bodies, and that was like, okay, this is crazy. So we got there with my younger brother Sakep, and when we got there, they were halfway in trying to dig. When I say they, I mean the community. They were busy trying to dig for the bodies because one body had been found. Shortly after that, my father's body was found. My younger brother's body wasn't found, and for quite a while they were busy searching, looking for his body. It was quite problematic now because remember, you have to deal with the fact that you've just lost your father, your stepmother, and your younger brother, and still now you still have to stand there and wait until the cops are done with what they're doing before you can actually do anything else. So it was it was a very painful experience, especially when it comes to losing 3 people at the same time. And that for me, I don't wish on anyone, and I do commend the community of Quarry Heights that they were able to invest their energy the way they did in ensuring that we find the bodies, because if it was just us, we won't be able to do all of that. Makuziwa ngale environment, they were able to structure to corner. It's an RDP settlement. So the way it's been built, you can tell that it wasn't originally meant for people to live there. So obviously, when people are given contracts to do work, they all don't do their due diligence there the way they should. So to some extent, you could tell even now that there's no way there should be a house slightly below another one without having room for movement and all of that.
Really, South Africa and the rest of the African continent, for that matter, need to start rethinking how we build our houses and how we build our cities. Steep slopes are going to be a no-no. Areas around rapidly filling up and flowing water sources are going to be a no-no. And town planning needs to be really, really careful about where people build moving forward. It is an alarm that has been sounding for a very long time, and unfortunately it has come to this.
My country has made me a political animal. My country has made me a political animal. So feast on the belly of the beast. Yes, each child, for we all die tomorrow. Each child, stuff your face with race debates. Always play your cards right. We're all doing it for the land, right? For the whales, the children.
nganakalelwa ngomunye iminyaka nganakalelwa imithi ngaspenda 15,000 something kulokhu kunzima kakhulu ukudula kwemithi nemphefumulo yabantu engazi nabefika begula ngizobasiza ngani.
Most of the work that is wage work is a lot of work that has to do with a lot of destruction, right, rather than reconstruction or regeneration. And then I was looking at, what does water work mean? Water work is the work of healers, both healers, abatandazi, and healers in the indigenous sense, whereby we know that water is alive. Water is memory. Water has the capacity to give life. Without water, things don't grow. There's a drought, there's dryness, there's barrenness. If we have a water consciousness about us, we can replicate that water consciousness into other forms of life. Zola posted a little meme that says, let's create some bowls for birds, for them to drink water. Let's have some bowls, be kind. It's basically it's almost like a message to children to say that in your vicinity, wherever you're living, especially in the urban areas where there's not a lot of water, pure water holes, have some fresh water for Izinyoni. Save nature, save the birds. For me, that thought replicated into 1 million people. It shows that even if it's just 1 million out of 1 billion, out of 7 billion people, if it's 1 million people doing that and not just focused on eating and not just focused on shopping and not just focused on acquisition of things, those 1 million people doing that become what you may call the intercessors.
When it comes to climate change and the impact of what we do as people, it's very, very important to understand that each and every action that we take in terms of nature, there's a reaction. So you'll find that from time to time, you will easily, while driving somewhere, throw out a bottle outside the window. The same bottle is going to travel from your stream, wherever you're staying, to the nearest river, from that river to a dam, from that dam to the ocean. Therefore, that creates pollution. You'll find that it might block somewhere. Somehow it might end up causing a bit of an imbalance in terms of nature.
It's difficult to have harmonious and regenerative ecosystems in the midst of privatization and capitalistic approaches to life.
An Australian minerals company wants to exploit a roughly 22-kilometre by 1.5-kilometre stretch of what, honestly, is some of the most beautiful coastal areas I've ever seen.
People were just saying that, is there any place where you can take us, a carousel, where we can see the livestock is still survive, the houses are still survive, the water is still survive, because those are basic things that we don't want to be disturbed. It did take some of our elders to go there. He said that they were not allowed to go and meet the people that were closer to the mine. Don't go to the community. You see, the houses are good. But people said, no, that's not our intention. Our intention is to speak to the people that how did they survive next to this mine. We're waiting at Komkulu for a feedback for those people they went to Richards Bay. When they come back, they tell us the truth. They said the grass is completely dry. The water, the houses, everything is falling apart.
Give our broken people who have been broken by colonialisms and other isms, materialisms, give us back the things that we held sacred before.
South African colonialism and apartheid drastically intensified when diamonds were first discovered in Kimberley and then gold in the Witwatersrand. That history of mining has been a history of sweeping black people off their land for white and multinational profit. That logic prevails even under democratic South Africa.
It will take a effort from communities that are united, that are very clear about what they need as custodians of their own ecosystem. They need to become things that are like, by the way, you cannot just come, whether you are Shell or whoever company that you may be, you cannot just come and take our stuff. You cannot just come and mine here.
To carry the ritual that begins to formulate new languages for humans to know the waters as God again.
So when I started doing my performance artwork, you start to discover textures, things that you miss in the theater. And water was one of them. A huge element of it.
The rituals that we have collected or we have inherited from the past, from Okokobet, our ancestors, are just reminders of nature. They are replicas of nature. They are our imaginative replicas of what is already there occurring naturally.
As a choreographer, I've been playing with this thing around time in movement and using water as a reference to that. And I've come to learn that water is a superpower in essence, because it's more than us, and it can control and it owns space. It can ruin space. It can bring life to space. And when I think about it, and the image that comes to mind is when water can go into any space, any little crevice, any little nook and cranny that it wants to be.
When I make work, it's almost like I create this sort of like a vacuum inside of me, and I've got this tornado inside that's just rolling.
Beautiful image.
And when I do that, then that's when I pick up, all the things that I need to use in the performance. The words, I pick up the words, I pick up all the elements, if there's water, if there's cow dung, if the colors, the spaces, the people. And it's almost like this thing of making yourself stick. It's like we are Sekusil Amanz Awekho.
Yeah.
So it's the act of fukula.
But what we need to create and consider is our own history with water and our own considerations with creating representations of ourselves in water.
Whenever we flee battle, we settle where there is a river. Either on the banks or on shore, though unsure, we're sure to seek out the protection of Oshun. O moon watching over us, we implore your pure and divine favor. We savor every drop of your sweet nectars. Factors threatening our safety, thus derailed, we fade back to black, back to the land of dreams. Hymns accompanying us on the journey. Early we rise, surprised to have made it back unharmed. Unarmed, we fought the darkness as the stars bore witness, and the glories mornings to claim. To name ourselves for our sense of gratitude for the magnitude of abundance, a sun dance precedes the ritual. Spiritual energies charging, we're trudging forth to a new day. To lay our burdens down, we drown the crown chakra in Yamaya's tears. Years and years of escaping bloodbaths on this hard earth surface find solace in the promise of wealth whispered by the waters. Daughters of the order of Maya, the fire in our bellies readies the serpent's urgent rise. Cries, ululations and celebrations mark our migration's success. Free we undress and immerse ourselves in her mercy. Many did not reach this place, and displaced though we may be from our place of descent, we've learned that home has grown to denote where the boat goes, or where the river flows. Where the boat goes, or where the river flows. onkqonkqoze mzini omkhulu. Siyabingelela kogogo nabomkhulu. Sithi siyakhothama sile ngomdlala sithonyiwe abantu